So it kind of brings like a very sort of, like you say, it modernizes something which has been around for as long as...
Exactly. I mean, that's the whole process of this thing. It's like putting God back in our, back in our hands.
I want to talk about this real quick, because what's interesting to me is if you think about artists, you think about musicians in general, like, religion has always played a very strong part in people's lives, and it is no mystery that faith in music and faith in God go hand in hand a lot of times. I can think of a lot of artists who are very religious, but they shroud it, they guard it. They guard it probably privately for themselves because they feel it should be a personal experience, and I'm sure that's the case in rap too. I'm positive of it. The devotion is on display on this record.
Yeah.
That's really unique if you think about it. You're not hiding anything. It's a very, very open, you really are serving the purpose here.
Yeah. I mean, since I think like all of this music kind of came from me moving to Los Angeles as a catalyst. I moved out here at the beginning of 2014. And stayed here only for about 4 or 5 months. But in that time, I felt like I was kind of losing my God a little bit, And that separation got, I kind of got rid of that feeling by filling every morning, literally filling my whole neighborhood with this Kirk Franklin sound. We had the craziest fucking speaker system. We used to have this giant house in LA called we would call it Coy Castle. It's just this big dumbass mansion I should have never rented, but we had the craziest speaker system in there. And every morning, starting at 6 a.m., I'd wake up because I'd be on Chicago time, and we'd crank Kirk Franklin through the fucking whole neighborhood. And that, I think that from that, that was the time that I started making a lot of this music 2 years ago, and it kind of carried through. And led me to understand and know that my next project was going to be, founded in God and founded in my faith. But I never really set out to make anything that could pretend to be new gospel or pretend to be the gospel. It's just, I think, music from me as a Christian man, because I think before I was making music as a Christian child, right? And like, in both cases, I have imperfections, but I think there was a declaration that could be made out of, going through all the shit that I went through in the past 2 years.
Having been a Christian child and now being a Christian young man, what do you think, and this could be taken as a heavy question, but I'm interested in your perspective, even if it's just a short one. What do you think God means to kids these days, from your experience?
That's a really good question. I still think that God means everything to everyone, whether they understand it or not, or can really see for themselves where they find, God. But I don't necessarily, I know for a fact that, we're not pushed or promoted to speak about God with fervor, I don't think that there's anything that really allows us to do it as so. But I think the new generation and the forward is all about freedom and all about the ability to do what we want. And, we're not free unless we can talk about God.
No, you're all in.
Yeah, it's like, let's go.
You're all in. And the thing is, like, when Kanye came out